Good morning. My name's Connie. This is the Woodland, mine and my husband's, where we raised our 3 boys. We've lived here for over 40 years, and I've come to love this woods dearly and worked very hard to take care of what I consider is something almost sacred to me, and that's the many different kinds of plants and animals that live in this woods. The woods is very typical of what we call the eastern deciduous forest in the United States and in Iowa. It's in eastern Iowa, and it goes east from here all the way out to the Atlantic coast. The woods are here because this part of the country gets more moisture, more rainfall, it has more humidity than the rest of the country, and trees need more rainfall than grasses do. So many years ago, when the prairies covered a lot of Iowa, we had woods in the eastern part of the state, and then we had a lot of prairies, grasslands in the drier western part of the state. There are lots of different kinds of plants and animals that live in this woods. Hundreds of species of plants, hundreds of kinds of animals. And these are not just any plants and animals. These are special because they've lived together for many, many, many years, hundreds of years, thousands of years. And living together, they've come together to form a community, what we call an ecosystem, where each of the species needs the other species to survive, and the species both depend on each other and provide services for other species. So, for example, the birds that come here from southern countries need the trees to make nests. They need the insects in the trees to eat, to feed to their babies. The trees, in turn, need the birds that come and keep the insect populations in check. And there are many such interdependency needs that these different animals and plants have for each other. It's a little bit like you have in your family. You have a mother and father that need you to make the family, and your parents, you need your parents to take care of you and to give you food and shelter and the like. So this is like a big natural biological community. It's something that I said is very special. It's not a healthy community like this, a healthy woodland like this is something very special, and we don't find lots of these today, but this is one example of such a healthy, diverse community. And today you're going to be learning something about the different parts of such a woodland.
Welcome to the Green Iowa Virtual Summer Camp, Week 3 on Iowa Ecosystems. My name's Lisa, and I'm going to teach you about the forest ecosystem today. And a forest is a community that's made up of several layers of plants and animals. And there are 5 layers within this community. And I'd like to compare that to an apartment building, or better yet, like your house. And we'll start with the bottom floor and work our way to the tallest floor. So think of the forest floors being similar to the basement of your house or the ground level of an apartment building. So the basement is below ground level, which is kind of hard to show on video. But this level consists of rich soil and mycelium and tree roots, which hold and filter water, while giving a home for plant roots to grow and animals to burrow. So on the forest floor, you will find decomposing hollow logs and leaf litter and all sorts of fungus and molds that create new soil and add nutrients to the forest floor. The second layer we're going to discuss today is the herb layer. And you can think of this layer like the carpet in your house or your apartment building on the first floor. This is made up of flowering plants that cover the soil, along with moss, ferns, woodland grasses, and sedges. And many of these plants die back and disappear when it gets cold in the fall and winter. The herb layer is a really special layer because it's one of the first things to awaken in the spring, with the woodland wildflowers and sedges covering the forest floor. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is a bottle brush grass that you find in the herb layer, and caterpillars of the northern pearly eye butterfly feed on the grass leaves of the bottle brush. The third layer in the forest is the shrub and vine layer. Think of this layer like the furniture in the first floor of your house or apartment. These plants cover the soil, but they are taller and woodier plants that do not die back with the cold weather, and the stems remain for next year. Often these plants are the most important plants for wildlife. And like we're seeing here, this is a hazelnut thicket, and oftentimes dense thickets form, and you have the flowering shrubs that also provide a variety of berries and nuts and make shrubs the most important places for winter cover, protection from predators, and sources of food throughout the year. Check out these gooseberries that are ripe. These are a great food source for lots of different animals, and these shrubs are quite thorny and provide a really good cover for the white-footed mouse, rabbits, and other songbirds. The fourth layer of the forest is the understory. Think of this as the middle stories of an apartment building, or like the second floor of your house. The understory grows in the shade beneath the tallest trees and consists of smaller, more shade-tolerant trees, such as hackberry, ironwood, and elm. These understory trees provide shelter for a wide range of animal species, like diverse songbirds, including thrushes, woodpeckers, nuthatches, and chickadees. And here you'll also find the occasional barred owl and screech owl, and maybe even a red-tailed hawk. The fifth floor of the forest is the canopy, which is like the top floor of the apartment building, and those with the best view live up here. Or think of it like the roof of your house. It is home to the very tallest trees whose leaves get the most sunlight. And these trees provide a buffer from wind and rain and snow for the plants and creatures below. One of the tree species you often find in the canopy in Iowa forests or woodlands are shagbark hickory. And look at the bark on this tree. It's shaggy, flaky bark, which provides great habitat for bats and other animals.
So thank you very much for coming and visiting my woods with me today. I love to share the woods with others. As I said at the beginning, I do love these woods and this ecosystem and all the many kinds of plants and animals I see here. Every time I come into the woods, I find something new. The other day, I came out our front door, and a female wild turkey walked past with about a dozen tiny little fluffy chicks following it. So there are lots of things to be discovered. I hope that you fall in love a little bit with nature, with our woodlands. There's something special about places like this. To me, I feel very peaceful here, and I think it's because places like this are predictable. We know that if we take care of nature, it'll go on being the same this year as it was last year and for years to come. And that's special, especially when our world is changing so fast. That's something very special, to feel that predictability, that dependability, that sense of peace. So I encourage you to learn to take care of nature, and also take care of yourselves, take care of your friends. If we all take care of each other, and if we take care of the natural world, we're all going to be fine. Thanks again for coming. Goodbye.